Welcome back to the channel, coin lovers. Today we're diving into something truly fascinating. The Australia 2007 Australian 10-cent coin. If you've ever wondered about rare coins from down under, how much they're worth, and why collectors are so passionate about them, you're in the right place. Today we'll explore the story behind this coin, its physical makeup, how much it can be worth in the market today, and even some tips to help you build and protect your own collection. So grab your magnifying glass and let's get into it. The 2007 Australian 10-cent coin might look like your everyday change, but it carries with it a piece of Australia's modern monetary history. This coin was produced by the Royal Australian Mint as part of the regular decimal currency series and features the familiar Queen Elizabeth II portrait on the obverse, along with the iconic lyrebird design on the reverse, a symbol cherished by Australians and coin collectors alike. Most of these coins were intended for everyday use, and millions were released into circulation. But depending on how a particular coin was handled over the years, its condition can range widely. When we talk about a coin in very fine condition, we mean one that has been gently used, but still retains most of its details. The lettering is clear, all elements of the design are sharp, and only light wear is visible. Coins in this condition are especially attractive to collectors because they give you a glimpse of history with minimal wear. Let's break down what this coin actually is. The 2007 Australian 10-cent piece is a round coin, made from a copper-nickel alloy, a sturdy blend that gives it a bright silvery finish and helps it last through years of handling. It weighs about and measures roughly 23.6 millimeters across, with a reeded edge that gives it that familiar ribbed texture. This composition and shape are typical of Australia's decimal coinage, but what makes certain examples special is how well they've aged. A coin in very fine condition will still show the shine in the high points and minimal surface marks, which makes it more appealing to collectors than a standard circulated example. Now let's talk about collector demand. Believe it or not, coins like this one are more popular than you might think. Worldwide, enthusiasts are always looking to fill gaps in their sets, especially coins from common years that are in higher condition grades. And while the 2007 Australian 10-cent coin isn't one of the ultra-rare dates with just a handful minted, its lower mintage compared to other years makes it a bit scarcer in high grades, like very fine and uncirculated. Collectors also love stories. Every coin has one where it was found, how it was preserved, who kept it in a collection for years, and that story adds emotional value as well as potential monetary value. And from what we're seeing in online marketplaces, examples of this coin in very fine to uncirculated condition do sell because there's a steady interest among hobbyists and numismatic fans. So, what about money? How much is this coin actually worth today? Here's where it gets interesting. Standard, circulated 2007 Australian 10-cent coins are often priced around there or slightly above, but when we look at examples in very fine condition, prices go up modestly. According to recent coin catalogs and collector listings, a 2007 Australian 10-cent in very fine grade can be worth around $1.40, 0 to $1.60, 0 USD, and in uncirculated condition, it can go a little higher, sometimes several dollars on online auctions, depending on demand, and that might seem modest, and compared to ultra-rare error coins that fetch thousands, it is modest, but remember, part of collecting is enjoying the journey and building a well-curated set over time. Also, every coin has the potential to surprise you. Sometimes a mistrike or unique feature can turn a humble coin into something very special. That's part of the magic of numismatics. If you're new to collecting or looking to level up, here are a few friendly tips. First, always check the condition first. Sharper details and minimal wear usually mean higher interest and better resale value. Second, store your coins properly in holders or albums designed for numismatics to protect them from scratches, humidity, and air. Third, educate yourself about mint errors and varieties, because sometimes a small detail like a rotated design or minting anomaly can turn an ordinary coin into a conversation piece or rare find. And lastly, don't be afraid to ask for professional grading or appraisal if you think you might have something special. Dealers and grading services can add credibility and value to your coin over time. So, there you have it, the fascinating journey of the Australia 2007 Australian 10-cent coin in very fine condition. It's a small but charming piece of history that tells us about Australia's coinage, appeals to collectors around the world, and still holds collectible value beyond its face worth. Whether you're just starting out or adding to a lifelong collection, coins like this remind us that numismatics is about passion, patience, and discovery. Next up, today we have something truly special to explore: the 2013 Australian 10-cent coin in very fine condition. This little piece of metal may look humble at first glance, but it has a story, character, and value that makes collectors all around the world sit up and take notice. If you love coins, treasure history, or are simply curious about investing in rare finds, you're in the right place. So let's jump right in. Let's start with the history of this coin. The Australian 10-cent piece has been in circulation for decades, but the 2013 version has gained a special reputation among collectors. These coins were struck by the Royal Australian Mint as part of the standard decimal series, and for most people, they served their purpose as everyday currency, answering parking meters, vending machines, saving up in jars. But something interesting happened over time. As collectors began to study mintages, survival rates, and the overall condition of coins from various years, the 2013 Australian 10-cent quietly became one that's talked about more than you might expect. Today, when we describe this coin as being in very fine condition, we're not just throwing around fancy numismatic lingo. Very fine condition means that the coin shows light wear but retains clear detail. The edges still stand crisp, the design elements are defined, and the overall look retains that original mint luster, just softened by age and gentle handling. In the coin world, that's incredibly appealing. It's the sweet spot between circulated wear and near-perfect preservation. Now let's talk about what this coin is made of and what it feels like in your hand. The 10-cent coin is traditionally made from a cupro-nickel composition. That means it's built from a blend of copper and nickel that gives it that classic silver-like sheen. It's a sturdy, durable alloy that resists corrosion and holds detail well over time. If you pick one up, you'll notice the solid weight and the satisfying feel of a well-struck piece. It's round with a smooth edge, and the design featuring the iconic lyrebird on the reverse and Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse is as timeless as Australian coinage gets. But what truly elevates a coin beyond its metal content is the demand among collectors. And the good news for fans of the 2013 Australia 10-cent coin is that interest has been steadily growing. Collectors love pieces that tell a story, that represent a specific time in history, and that reflect careful preservation. Many people who collect Australian coins are drawn to issues from the 21st century because they combine familiar imagery with the scarcity that comes from lower survival rates in premium condition. When a coin is both rare and available in very fine condition, collectors take notice, and sometimes that means stronger demand and more attention on auction platforms, coin shows, and online marketplaces. Now you might be wondering, what does that all mean in terms of actual market value? Right now, the 2013 Australia 10-cent coin in very fine condition is commanding interest from buyers and sellers internationally. Market value is something that naturally fluctuates, influenced by collector demand, economic trends, and the specific condition of each individual coin. In general, coins in very fine condition sell for significantly more than not because of precious metal content, but because collectors are willing to pay a premium for rarity and quality within this particular issue. You'll often see these coins listed in the range 48,000 of $1.75, $0 to potentially higher depending on who's selling and how pristine the coin appears. If you're watching values over time, you'll notice that the upward trend reflects growing awareness and appreciation For collectors who are just getting started, or even for those who have been around the hobby for a while, there are a few simple tips that can help you make the most of your experience. First, always take the time to assess condition honestly. Coins that are clean, free of heavy marks, and display crisp details will always attract more interest. Be patient when searching for pieces. Sometimes the treasure is hiding in a lot or collection that hasn't been fully examined yet. And always store your coins properly in protective holders or albums to maintain their condition and long-term value. Another tip that seasoned collectors love to share is to stay connected with the community. That means checking market forums, watching auction results, and networking with other collectors. When you learn what others are looking for and why, you'll start to see patterns in demand and price trends that help guide your own decisions. As we wrap up today's video, I want to leave you with this thought. Coins like the 2013 Australian 10-cent in very fine condition aren't just metal discs. They're tangible pieces of history that connect us with the stories of everyday life. Whether you're here because you love history, because you're building a collection, or simply because you love treasure hunts, this coin has something special to offer. Next up, today, we have something truly fascinating to talk about, a little piece of history that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. We're diving into the intriguing story of the 1970 Australian 10-cent coin, specifically the rare rust green variety in fine condition, and exploring its market value in today's dollar terms. So, whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone curious about coins with character, you're in the right place. Let's start by setting the scene with a bit of history. The Australian 10-cent coin first entered circulation in 1966 when the country transitioned to decimal currency. Designed by the renowned British sculptor Norman Clifton, née Thorpe, the obverse features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, while the reverse showcases the beloved male Australian lyrebird, an elegant and instantly recognizable native species. Now, here's where things get interesting. In 1970 Ampere's specific run of 10-cent coins was struck that exhibited an unusual rust green hue, a toning effect that gives the coin a distinctive and charming appearance. Unlike the typical brilliant or toned gray surface most copper-nickel coins display, this rust green variety developed a subdued, earthy coloration. Collectors describe the surface as having a warm, natural patina that almost feels like a link connecting us back in time to a moment when this coin was new in someone's pocket. Condition matters so much in the world of coins, and today we're focusing on examples in fine condition. That means clear and distinct design elements are still present, while the coin shows gentle circulation wear. In the case of the 1970 rust green 10-cent, the lyrebird's feathers will remain visible and identifiable, though softened by age. The rim should still be intact, and the fields, even if not shiny, will carry that rich, appealing green tone that makes these coins stand out. Let's talk about what this coin is made of. The standard Australian 10-cent piece from this era uses a composition of and nickel. This alloy gives the coin a robust structure and helps explain why, after 5 decades, it can develop unique surface tones. While the composition is similar to many mid-20th century decimal coins, it's the rust green toning that transforms this coin from everyday currency into something much more collectible. Every collector has their own story about how they first encountered a coin like this, and demand for rust green 1970 Australian 10 cents has grown steadily in recent years. Part of the appeal lies in rarity. These are not coins you find every day in pocket change. Enthusiasts appreciate the historical connection, the distinct appearance, and the joy of adding something truly unique to their collection. Some people are drawn to Australian coins in particular because they reflect a vibrant cultural heritage, and this rust green variety has become something of a hidden gem among collectors. Now, let's get down to the part many of you are curious about: market value. The value of any collectible coin depends on several factors, including condition, rarity, and collector demand at the time of sale. For a 1970 rust green 10-cent coin in fine condition, prices fluctuate based on auction results, dealer interest, and the overall market trends. In recent years, these coins in fine condition have attracted offers ranging from the low $1.20, zero of $1.40, $0 into the higher ranges, depending on the intensity of the green toning and eye appeal. Especially desirable specimens can fetch more, sometimes moving into the range serious collectors are eager to pay because of that natural patina and historical story. As always with collectibles, the true value is what a buyer is willing to pay and a seller is willing to accept in the moment. If you're a collector thinking about adding one of these coins to your collection, here are a few tips that will serve you well. First, always examine the toning carefully in good lighting attractive. Even toning can significantly enhance a coin's appeal to other enthusiasts. Second, don't be afraid to seek out expert opinions or third-party grading if you believe you have an exceptional example. A professional evaluation can help you understand the coin's condition and market potential more deeply. And finally, enjoy the journey. Part of the joy of collecting is the thrill of discovery, and each coin you find carries its own unique story. To wrap things up today, the 1970 Australian rust green 10-cent coin in fine condition is a wonderful blend of history, natural beauty, and collector interest. Its warm tones whisper tales of decades past, and its presence in a collection speaks to the passion and dedication of the person who owns it. Whether you're holding one for the first time or you've been collecting for years, this coin brings a smile to the eyes of anyone who appreciates numismatic treasures. Next up, today we are talking about a coin that almost every Australian household has seen at some point. Yet many people are surprised to learn that some examples can still attract real interest from collectors. Our topic today is the Australia 10-cent rare coin from 1983, especially a rust-looking, heavily circulated coin that is still in fine condition, and what its real market value looks like today in dollars. Let's begin with a little history, because understanding where this coin comes from helps us understand why people still care about it. The Australian 10-cent coin was introduced when Australia changed to decimal currency in the 1960 TES, and by the time 1983 arrived, the 10-cent piece had already become one of the most familiar coins in everyday life. The 1983 issue was struck by the Royal Australian Mint, and it carries the well-known portrait of Elizabeth II on the obverse, with the iconic lyrebird design on the reverse. This design is instantly recognizable, and for many people, it brings back memories of school tuck shops, bus fares, and small everyday purchases. That emotional connection is one of the quiet strengths behind this coin's popularity today. Now let's talk about the condition of the 1983 10-cent coin, especially the kind many viewers ask about a rust-colored, well-used, circulated coin that still falls into what collectors call fine condition. First, it is important to understand that this coin is not made from steel, so it does not truly rust in the way iron does. The 1983 10-cent coin is made from a copper-nickel alloy. Over time, when a coin spends decades in pockets, purses, and cash drawers, it can develop darker toning, brownish staining, and surface discoloration. To the eye, especially under poor lighting, this can look like rust. In reality, it is usually oxidation and environmental toning rather than damage to the metal itself. In fine condition, the coin shows heavy circulation, but the main details are still visible. On the portrait side, you can still clearly recognize the queen's profile and the surrounding legend. On the reverse, the lyrebird is still outlined, even though the feathers may no longer be sharp. This level of wear is very common for a genuine 1983 coin found in daily circulation, and it is also the condition most beginners encounter when they first start checking their change. One of the most interesting technical aspects of the 1983 Australian 10-cent coin is its bag round and composition. The standard bag round for Australian decimal coins means they were packaged in large mint bags containing thousands of pieces for banking and distribution. These coins were never meant to be protected or specially stored. They were produced for fast circulation, and that is exactly what happened to most of them. The composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel, which gives the coin its silver-gray appearance when new, and its darker, sometimes brownish or gray-black color after many years of handling. This alloy is very durable, and that is why even heavily worn 1983 coins often survive in acceptable collector condition today. The reeded edge also helps protect the design slightly from complete flattening during circulation. Now let's move into collector demand, which is the most important part of understanding whether this coin is truly rare or simply popular. The truth, and this is shared in a positive and realistic way, is that the 1983 Australian 10-cent coin is not a major rarity by itself. Large numbers were produced, and many millions entered circulation. However, demand still exists because collectors build date sets, year runs, and type collections. Someone who wants a complete run of 10-cent coins will still need a 1,983 example, and that keeps a steady base of buyers in the market. In addition, there is a growing number of new collectors who enjoy searching through circulated coins. For them, a clearly dated 1,983 piece in fine condition is affordable, easy to recognize, and historically meaningful. Coins that show unusual toning, darker surfaces, or unusual color patterns often attract extra attention, especially when the coin is not damaged and the details remain visible. What truly increases demand is not the year alone, but the presence of something different. This could be a strong off-center strike, a clipped planchet, or another genuine mint error. When such features appear on a 1,983 Australian 10-cent coin, collector interest can rise dramatically. Now let's talk honestly and clearly about the current market value today in dollars for a circulated, rust-looking but fine condition 1,983 10-cent coin. In most cases, a normal circulated 1,983 10-cent coin in fine condition is worth only a small premium over. In today's market, that usually means around 10 to 50 cents, depending on eye appeal and buyer interest. Many examples still trade simply as 10-cent coins unless sold in bulk to beginner collectors or included in starter sets. If the coin shows attractive toning, very clear date and design, and no corrosion or damage, it can sometimes reach around $48,000 to $75,000 when sold individually to the right buyer. So, if your 1,983 Australian 10-cent coin looks rusty but is actually just toned and worn from circulation and still has clear design features, its realistic value today is modest but still meaningful, especially for a beginner collector or for someone building a full Australian decimal set. Now let's look at a few important and practical tips for collectors who are searching for this coin or already own one. The first and most important tip is not to clean the coin. Cleaning removes original surface metal and instantly lowers collector value. Even a heavily toned or dark coin is far more desirable in its original state than one that has been polished or chemically cleaned. It is also a good idea to inspect the coin under natural light or a soft lamp and look closely at the date and the lyrebird design. Make sure there are no deep pits, flaking metal, or green corrosion, because those signs usually indicate damage rather than harmless toning. Another helpful tip is to compare your coin with other 1,983 10-cent coins online that are clearly labeled as circulated or fine condition. This helps train your eye and gives you a realistic picture of how your coin fits into the market. If you believe your coin shows something unusual, such as a missing part of the rim, a strong misalignment, or a clearly double design, it is worth showing it to a local coin dealer or experienced collector before selling it. Genuine errors can change the value of a simple coin very quickly. Finally, proper storage is a simple but powerful habit. Even a circulated coin deserves a small coin flip or holder. This protects it from fingerprints, moisture, and further surface damage, and keeps it in the same condition for years to come. As we come to the conclusion, the 1,983 Australian 10-cent coin reminds us that collecting is not always about expensive or famous rarities. Sometimes it is about everyday objects that quietly carry history in our pockets. A rust-looking, circulated but fine condition 1,983 Australian 10-cent coin is not usually a high-value treasure, but it is a genuine part of Australia's modern coinage story. It represents the work of the National Mint, the design traditions of the decimal era, and the daily life of millions of people who use this coin without ever thinking it might one day be examined and discussed by collectors.